Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. We've got a few people that are joining this meeting.
Hello.
Malcarney. I am the chairman of the Town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals, and we're waiting just a few seconds for the people that are coming on to come on. Again, my name is Joseph Malcarney. I am the chairman of the Town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals.
See my face too? I don't want to.
You want to see their face?
Yeah.
You only want them to see your face?
Yeah, so
Maybe they can mute themselves if
yeah,
they're.
I think they just did, so that's good. Just as a reminder, if you're not speaking, if you could mute yourself, that would be helpful. And certainly the way this will work, just because it's a new format where we're not all together in the room, is I will mention what the agenda is for the evening. I'll kind of introduce everyone, but as we go through it, the zoning board members will have a discussion, and then there'll be a point during the meeting that I will open the meeting to a public hearing. And it's at that point. So if you have any questions while we're discussing things, just make note of them. And then when I open the public hearing, that's when you'll be able to have your moment to share any comments that you have. So as I mentioned, my name is Joseph Malcarney. I am the chairman of the Town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals.
May I ask a question as an observer? I hate to ask a question, but the presidential debate starts at 8. Is it a chance that the public session will open before that?
There
certainly
is. Which application are you looking to comment on?
Stephen Kent and Melanie Meir.
The second one. So I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I'll mute myself. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
I can't get on.
So tonight's meeting has been convened in accordance with the governor's March 13th, 2020 Executive Order 202.1 as extended, which suspends certain provisions of the open meeting law to allow the ZBA to convene a meeting via video conference. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view the ZBA's meeting via Zoom and YouTube. Those are the only two, correct? I think so. Thank you. A link to the town's YouTube channel has been provided in the meeting's notes, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. The members of the zoning board are as follows: John Calogero, who's here, Hayden, Charles Canham, Norma Dolan, Ron Mostello, Arthur Weiland, and Russell Tompkins. On the agenda for this evening, we will have first the Niebling area variance, then the Kent area variance, and the Fierro area variance. We have here. So again, just as a reminder, if you would hold any of your comments until the time that I open the public hearing. Once I open the public hearing, if you would state your name and your address prior to commenting. So with that, Ron, if you want to get us started. Well, actually, do we have Niebling? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, Niebling, yep.
Niebling, okay. If you could just kind of, as a further note, the meeting is recorded, as you can kind of see in the upper corner.
Yep.
It's not there now, but it is. And all adjoining property owners have been notified and fees paid, Arlene?
Yes, yep.
Okay, so if you would be so kind as to kind of explain what it is that you're looking to do and why you're coming before the zoning board.
So I'm after a it's gonna be like a dry storage area for me. Just looking to get some basic stuff out of the house. I have a one-car garage attached to the house, but but there's some things, obviously I don't want too close to, the boiler, all that good stuff. So it's just trying to get myself some dry storage. And it's pretty much like a metal carport or like a metal lean-to.
Our wardrobe department will send you the costume ASAP. We'll even
Just keep going. Keep going. And if anyone's not speaking, if you could mute yourself, that would be helpful.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so it's just pretty much extra. And like I said, I'll keep calling it, like a storage area for me outside, my attached garage. Just trying to get some things out and get a little more space for myself.
Okay, great. Ron, if you want to take it from here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Joseph. So I met with the applicant, Mr. Niebling, I believe it was on Tuesday. The applicants wish to construct a sort of carport type or style structure, about 18 by 21 feet in dimension, approximately. Metal stud construction, metal roof construction, typical of the ones we've probably all seen locally. The site they've chosen, to me, is a practical one for two reasons. There's a sort of natural path or approach to it that ends in a flat area, which is also natural, creating a pad for the structure. Putting the structure virtually anywhere else on the property, on the lot, would, I think, infringe greater on the setback requirements and also require a significant amount of tree removal and fill to be brought in. So in this area that they're proposing, the applicants can meet the side and the front setbacks. The variance request is for rear lot line setback from 75 to 40 feet. The proposed structure, I don't believe it will be visible from any neighboring lots to the side or to the rear. And I believe it'll be likely minimally visible, if at all, from the road. It's sort of almost in a little hollow or small type of valley on the lot. And as stated, they will be using it for dry storage, yard tools, mower, etc. And it's proposed to be 3-sided as well. So any other questions I can answer?
Do you have the planning board recommendations to summarize?
The planning board did issue a positive recommendation. I don't have it able to open right now, but I included
do you have that? Is it in our packets or did you
Yeah,
email?
it's in your packet, Ron.
Okay, let's just take a look.
Bear with me.
Did you find it?
Yes. That's what I get for trying to rely on everything electronically tonight.
So good. If you want to, then you can even just kind of start in the whereas and just read what they have there. I mean, you're welcome to summarize it too, but if you haven't had a chance to go through it, reading it's fine as well.
Okay, I thought it was in my packet.
All right, I'm gonna get it on my screen.
Can I ask a question while we're looking?
Sure, go ahead.
Is it going to be steel?
Yes.
What about rust and deterioration? Just curious.
I don't know the actual material. I don't know if it's aluminum or actual steel.
I think it's all aluminum building.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you want to read from here? Can you read it?
Yeah, you have it there?
Yeah, Darlene.
I can't find it in my packet, but
Yeah. I just took a look.
Arlene,
Ron?
Arlene, you emailed them it to us, at least to me, yesterday.
Yes, that's why I don't have it. I didn't print it.
Oh, you know what? Because the meeting was just Tuesday night. You're right. I had
That's right.
emailed
So
them to you. You're right.
It was in an email. I
Yeah.
have it open if you want me to read
Yeah,
it.
why don't you?
It's
you okay
on the
with that,
screen.
Rob?
Can you see my screen?
No.
No?
Not open yet. Not open yet.
Okay. Yeah. Charles, you want to just summarize that? Since you have it
Sure,
there?
although, Ron, do you have it? I can.
I do not, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, so basically oh, for crying out loud, even I opened the wrong file. Here we go. I have about 30 of them. Okay, so the planning board provided a positive recommendation on the requested area variance to reduce the rear yard setback from 75 feet to 40 feet to build an 18-foot by 21-foot metal carport in the side yard of the single-family residence owned by Larry Niebling. Whereas the applicant is requesting an area variance to the rear yard setback from 75 to 40 feet on a 2.59 acre lot to build an 18-foot by 21-foot metal carport. The lot is 2.59 acres. This lot is non-conforming due to its acreage, 2.59 where 5 acres is required. At least 3 of the other lots in close proximity are pre-existing substandard lots with similar setback variances. It is our judgment that the variance required to construct this carport would not adversely affect the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. They note that the lot is non-conforming. It's not in an ag district. The size of the carport would be 378 square feet. This would make the lot coverage 2,044 square feet or approximately 0.18%, which is not in excess of the permitted 7%. The property is within the Ridgeline Scenic and Historic Protection Overlay District, I assume because of elevation. The carport is not visible from the adjoining parcels, but can be partially seen from Browns Pond Road. The benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved in any other way. The neighbors have been notified as per Mr. Niebling. No letters have been received at this time. Under SECRA, an area variance is a type 2 action requiring no further review. The requested area variance is substantial, but this should not preclude its granting. The non-conforming smaller nature of the lots in the area on Browns Pond Road make the variance for the carport not a substantial request. Therefore, they make a positive recommendation.
Great. Thank you. Any further discussion from the members of the board?
I'll mention that.
Go ahead,
Can you
Russ.
hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
I drove over and there was no one home. Matter of fact, there was a notice for a lost dog at their door. But this is looks like a very good choice for this site. You have a driveway that goes in headed towards that, so they have easy access to it. And I assume the stone wall to the rear is a property line. The land behind it is undeveloped. I don't think that it's probably going to be developed in the near future. So the change in the setback to that property line to the rear, to me, seems like a small minimal change. And I think it's a good location for his shed that he's asking for.
Great, thank you. Norma?
I just had a question about something Mr. Niebling said. He said for dry storage, and he mentioned a boiler. Is that going to be an operational boiler?
No, I'm referring to there's stuff I want to get out of my attached garage that's attached to the house. And, the attached garage is close to the boiler room. So, as far as gasoline,
okay.
machine, that type thing. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
I
no,
pretty
no.
much am looking to get stuff like, stuff like that out of the house. You know what I'm saying?
All I heard was boiler, and I was
Okay. Sorry about that.
no, don't apologize. That's fine. I just wanted to clarify it.
Yeah. Sorry. That's what I meant. So dry storage out there. Yep.
Arthur, did you have a comment too?
No, it was answered. It's fine. Thank you.
Great.
I guess, Joseph, I have a question on my own application. I have this as being not in the Ridgeline or Scenic and Historic Protection Overlay based on a application the board had heard before. Planning board, if I heard Charles correctly, is saying that it is.
Arlene, can we confirm that? Do you have the map there?
You, I think it's not. I think it's not. It's flat, and there was scrambling about that question at that meeting. So it's
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like any other thoughts from the board. Go ahead, Arthur.
Well, item 6 is calling it in the ridge line. We'd actually have to look at a map to determine where that boundary is. But I'd still, I agree with Russ. It's the property behind it is huge, and there won't be any significant activity there that I could imagine in the near future.
I just have one question. Did I understand that this will be open on one side and closed on 3?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Okay, long side or short side open?
A shorter side open, the front, the 18 width.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Charles? We'll go
Well, I was just gonna note that most of the considerations under Ridgeline Scenic and Historic Protection Overlay Districts don't apply to single-family residence area variance applicants. So it's a bit of a moot point here, but it's, as it said, it's hard to pull up those maps quickly and resolve this.
Okay. All right, Arthur?
Yeah, I could pull up the map, but as Charles says, it takes a little while. But and they're not necessarily that easy to read on this. But if we just drop that out of the variance motion, don't refer to it one way or the other.
Yep. Okay. Further discussion from the board? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
That's John Calogero. All in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. At this point, if there are any members of the public that would like to comment on that, now is your time.
I am Dawn Harrington. I live at 338 Browns Pond Road. I'm Mr. Niebling's neighbor across the street.
Okay, great.
I did send in a list of questions, all of which were answered. I do wish John were here to help me with these questions. He's in a meeting himself right now. So I guess my first question is, would he have the opportunity as the homeowner to ask a question at a later date?
And I'm sorry, question in regards to?
Mr. Niebling, to what we're talking about. He's not able to be on this with us tonight, sir. He's working. So my question is, would he have an opportunity to ask questions at a later date?
As far as the area variance goes, we'll decide and make a determination on that this evening. I mean, certainly the question that you have, you could sure talk to the neighbor about it.
Say that one more time, please. I'm sorry.
I said, if as far as the area variance, we will make a determination.
Okay.
But if there was a question outside of that, certainly, Larry is your neighbor,
He is my neighbor. Thanks. Yeah. I have spoken with him before when we had a bear on our deck to let him know, actually. Thanks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, so all my questions were asked. I guess we're just concerned with the neighborhood looking commercial. It's a residential neighborhood, so anything that makes it look commercial. Are these, I didn't add the numbers, John did. He's a mechanical engineer. He noted to me via email that he didn't think that the setback dimensions were accurate. Did anybody else come up with that? I don't even have a number for, or he said you add the numbers together and it's not accurate for where it's sitting. Is a survey needed to do this or not?
No, the setback from, approximately where that is from the line is what's needed. So, and again, I don't have the exact measurements to go by. You can look at the
what Arlene has up kind of illustrates what the approximate
I have that.
are.
Yeah, I have it. I have it too. So what will be visible from the road is a metal, aluminum. So it won't be the open side. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Right. Okay. That was my concern, just commercial looking things on the road since it's a residential road. So our house is across the street and just, it's a property value issue for me. So thank you so much for answering those questions. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Dan. Any other questions from the public at this time? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion, I second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Great. So moved. Further discussion from the board?
I got a question for you, Joe.
Sure.
I'm looking at the first page, the zoning variance. It says 75 feet to 40 feet. As you see on the map that's displayed right now, looks like it's showing 50 feet. It seems like we got two different things here. I assume it's going to be the 40 feet, which is mentioned on the application.
Correct. And it may go to the point of what Don mentioned, where, if you have 50 feet and 18 feet, and then, to the other side, that may, the map may come out that it's more, towards the back. We don't, have the exact, again, dimensions of the whole lot here. But so, like, for example, if we grant a variance at 50 feet and they want to put it at 42 feet, then they can't do that. But if we grant the variance for 40 feet, which sounds like it's a more practical number, they can always put it at 42 or 44, but they can't put it any closer.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from the board? All right. Ron. Oh, Ron, you have a comment?
When we do the motion, I'd like that described as aluminum, if we could.
Okay. Yeah. So again, once Ron reads it, then we can definitely.
It's about this big, 3 by 3.
Again, if you're participating and if you're not actively speaking, if you could mute yourself, that would be helpful.
I had one more question. I'm sorry.
We did close the public hearing.
Oh, pardon me. No problem at all. I'll ask my neighbor. No worries at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Okay, Ron.
Sure, thank you. So with all of that in consideration, I would motion that the Town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals grant an area variance requested by Larry Niebling and Emily Palmieri with respect to the Town of Clinton Zoning Law District Schedule of Area and Bulk Regulations, Section 250, Attachment 2, for a rear yard setback reduction to 40 feet from the required 75 feet for the purposes of placement of a carport structure on the property at 355 Browns Pond Road, tax grid number 132-400-626-800-926-323-0000. The 2.59 acre parcel is located in an AR5A zoning district in the Town of Clinton with the following factors in consideration. The applicant requests an area variance to allow placement of an approximately 18-foot wide by 21-foot long carport on the property. The property is an existing non-conforming lot with over 420 feet of road frontage, and the lot is only slightly over 160 feet deep at midpoint. Thus, the standard front and rear setbacks for lots in AR5A zone consume the area of the lot for the proposed structure placement, necessitating variances for the structure on the property. 2, the principal dwelling was constructed in 1965 and is currently located approximately 85 feet back from the front lot line, and the proposed new structure would be approximately 122 feet from the front line setback. Given the configuration of the lot, there is no other practical location for the accessory structure without excessive landfill or tree line clearing. 3, the requested variance will have no adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions within the neighborhood. 4, the granting of the variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties. 5, the alleged difficulty is self-created and the requested variance is substantial, but this does not preclude its granting. 6, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by other feasible means. 7, as we talked about, will be deleted. It's referencing the ridge line. 8, the site is on a designated scenic or historic road, that being Browns Pond Road. 9, an area variance is a type 2 action under SECRA and requires no further action. 10, there are no known violations. 11, the planning board has made a positive recommendation to the ZBA for approval. All on the condition that all fees have or will be paid.
Okay, second for discussion.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Norma?
Just the aluminum part there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did forget to add that.
Well, just because I think steel requires maintenance eventually. So I put a stipulation in there if it was steel.
Mr. Niebling, will it in fact be aluminum? Do you know?
Yeah, well, I had, like I said that before, I should do just a double check. But I know it's all the sides that would be, exposed. They're all going to be covered. But being that going through, the process, I just want to be 100% sure.
Is this a pre-manufactured building?
Yeah, it's a company that they come and just, install it. Again, too, I just do. I now I'm thinking I just want to be, 100% sure.
Yeah. So Norma, if it's a like a pre-manufactured building, it'll be coated, and we typically carry a 15 to 20 year loading rating on it. So I don't think that we need to say aluminum.
Okay, that's out of my league. So all I know is my aluminum chairs on the back porch, rust. So
yeah, well, like I said, I mean, my dad's had one for years and nothing, but again, too, maybe it's just coated or,
Yeah. If they've got to coat them, some of them are aluminum, some of them are galvalume, some of them are steel, and if they have the coating on it, and again, you get it, from a
okay
place,
okay.
You'll be okay.
Okay.
Okay, Arthur.
About the ridge line and item 7, should we drop that?
Yes, Ron did mention that, so that is not going to be part of it. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, with that, I will call your name, and if you can vote, an aye vote is in favor of granting the variance, a nay would be in opposition to granting the variance. So John Calogero.
Aye.
Charles Cannon.
Aye.
Norma Dolan.
Aye.
Ron Mostello.
Aye.
Arthur Wyden.
Aye.
Russ Tompkins.
Aye.
And aye. So your conditional variance has been granted, Larry.
Thank you.
If there are further discussions, you can certainly, if you have any other questions about timing and payments and all of that, just work with Arlene on it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Night.
Bye.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have a Kent area variance. So who do we have on the call for that? Okay.
Me.
Okay.
I'm almost ready.
Yeah, we'll get a second there. All right, so there we go. Are you there?
I'm there. It's Steve
All right.
Kent and my wife Melanie Meir.
Okay.
Melanie Meir.
Melanie and
Steve.
Steve. Okay, great. Thank you both for being here. If you could briefly describe why we are coming before the zoning board.
So we need to build a shed. This summer I got lucked into a small antique car and I've got a boat on a trailer. And our lot it's 6 acres, but it's extremely irregular. It's shaped like a dragon. And the topography it's like a big bowl sloping down to the Crum Elbow Creek. So at the road level, there are kind of berms fending you off, and there's rock outcropping, and there's some wetlands. I guess about 30 to 40% of the property is within 100 feet of the creek, so you can't build there. There's only one spot where there's kind of level ground at road level. And that's where we've got the boat trailer stored now, and the car, you know, and the other car that we need to get rid of, and my mower. And we don't have a garage at all. There's a tiny little smokehouse, but that's not much storage. It's a historic structure. So we needed to build something. I started with a kit, which is actually really nice. It's 14 by 12. It's cedar construction. It's got 6-inch posts, and it has a standing seam. It's all metal roof, you know, with metal purlins and stuff. And it's standing seam black. And then I worked with the building inspector on it, not realizing I needed a variance. And I got an engineer, and we figured out how to make it bomb proof, and, you know, according to the engineer. So it'll be, you know, 2x4s every 2 feet, and rafters and so forth to strengthen it, cladding it plywood, putting cedar clapboard on it. So it's going to be pretty. It's going to be really nice. And I'll engineer some garage doors in the front. So I want to make it. It's got to be deep enough for the boat trailer to go in. So I need to hang a shed addition off the back. So the dimensions are going to be 14 by 18 and a half, and that's 259 square feet. So because of the shape of the land and the topography and so forth, really the only place I can do this is it's on that spur that we now use to, you know, store cars in the boat and the mower. And if I push it back as far as I can and still make it long enough for the trailer, I can get it 20 feet from the center of the road. So when I think it was John who was out, and a couple of other people on the board drove past, and they said that they were struck by the fact, and this is why I didn't really realize I would need a variance until I got into the process. It is in a historic district. I think it's AR5, if I remember correctly. But there are all kinds of buildings, you know, on the road and near the road. They're right on the road. My house, the addition on the east side is within like 6 or 7 feet of the edge of the road. So maybe, you know, like 15 feet to the middle. The barn across the street is 3 feet to the edge of the road. And there are other examples like that in the neighborhood. I know and my, that smokehouse that I mentioned, which was 1846, that's like 3 feet off the road. So this is going to be 20 feet from the center. And it's kind of tucked, it's 200 feet west of where the house is. So in terms of visual impacts, it's going to be better because we're not going to have the mess of the cars and the boats and the ladders and so forth and the mowers that we can't store. But in terms of visual impact, you know, the person across the street person, they won't see it from their house. They'll certainly see it from the road, but that's the Rowleys, and they actually support it. So I'll answer any other questions you have about it.
Great, thank you, Stephen. Norma?
Shall I read the planning board motion?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, I'm going to leave out a lot of the
summarize it.
numbers and actually to fill in Mr. Kent and Ms. Meir, a lot of what you'll hear in the motion is repetitive too, because that's the way we need to do it. So the planning board motion was addressed to you, and I see your name is Meir, not here. So that would be a correction on the letter you received. And so the town of Clinton Planning Board made a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals on the requested area variance to section 250 attachment 2, reducing the front yard setback from 100 feet to 20 feet to build a 14 by 18 and a half detached garage as requested by Stephen D. Kent and Melanie Kier on, that's Meir, excuse me, located at 231 Zippelberg Road. Am I pronouncing that right?
That's actually right.
Takes practice. Going back to New York. Tax grid, it ends in 116439, which are the really identifying numbers. And then it goes, whereas the applicant is requesting a reduction in the front yard setback to the north side of the road from 100 feet to 20 feet to build a 14 by 18 and a half attached garage. It's not attached. That's detached.
detached.
Okay, correct. Well, that's the planning board motion.
Yeah.
Number 2, the property is in an AR5 zoning district. 3, the property is not within the Ridgeline Scenic and Historic Protection Overlay District. 4, the property is not in a critical environmental area. 5, the variance requested is substantial. However, the lot is irregularly shaped with steep slopes and wetlands, leaving very little flat area to build a garage. 6, an undesirable change will not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties, as several other structures on this property and neighboring properties are close to the road. That's sort of an understatement. So this is a very unique section of the road. 7, there is no other location to place the garage without significantly disturbing the environment, given the lot configuration, and the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method. The proposed variance should not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood. 9, the alleged difficulty is self-created, but should not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance, considering the surrounding conditions. All aye, motion carried 7-0 by the planning board. And we have 2 letters of support here from neighbors.
Okay.
And Joseph?
Yeah. Yep. You want to summarize them?
Summarize the motion? I
No,
didn't know.
the letters from the neighbor. Or
The letters are very supportive. I could read them to you. Would you like that?
Yes.
Okay. There's a letter from Robert and Eileen Rowley to the board as a whole. We are writing in support of Stephen Kent and Melanie Mears' request for a variance for the construction of a garage on their property with only a 20-foot setback. The proximity of this project in relation to our property is directly across the street, and we reside at 216 Zipfelberg Road. Steve and Melanie, I don't think I did it as well that time, live at 231. The proposed garage will in no way obstruct our view. The new structure will not interfere in any way with the flow of traffic on our road. Steve and Melanie have a need for a safe, weatherproof vehicle storage. This will help them keep their vehicles, including their vintage sailboat, off the side of the road and out of harm's way. And they offer their information if anybody had a question. The other one is an email from Joanna Underwood to the zoning board. I have been a neighbor of Stephen Kent and Melanie Meir on Zipfelberg Road for more than 20 years, and am writing to support their request for an area variance, Section 250, Attachment 2 of the Town of Clinton zoning regulations, so they may build a detached garage to store and protect their cars, boats, and mowers. They've always maintained their home and property in excellent condition, so it has been an asset to our neighborhood. The garage they have designed and planned would be quite inconspicuous with the 20-foot setback from the road and would further enhance their property. And she requested information on joining the Zoom meeting.
Okay, great. Any further discussion from the board?
Yeah, I have several questions. Looking at this map right now that's on the screen, the dark yellow line that comes down along the road, is that the road right away?
It's the line. It's the property line.
That's the property line, that yellow line?
Yes.
Because if you look at that,
They can be off by the curvature of the earth by 20 feet.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. Our property goes right up to the road, as far as I know.
The lines that are on the property access are not accurate.
Arthur?
This is probably a user road, and there's not the same kind of setback on a user road, and quite often the land meets in the middle of the user road, sometimes crossing a user road.
Yeah, and typically our setbacks are from the center line.
well,
There you go. That too, yeah.
I went up and inspected the site from the road, And from the house down to where they want to build the shed is a downgrade just past a curve. And if you measure from the center of the road back 20 feet, depending upon how wide you're considering the road, like I say, the building they proposed to start 20 feet back. And looking at the drawing, matter of fact, I'll ask Mr. Kent a question, because on the last page of his statements, let me get back to it. He's talking about rotating the building 90 degrees from what his original plan was. And he says, I intend to rotate the building 90 degrees so the longer 14-foot dimension faces the road. Now, the longer dimension is 18 feet, not 14 feet.
No, that's not, I'm sorry, but I meant that the rotating the 12 by 14 structure. So I'll hang the shed addition off the 14-foot dimension on the back. So the front elevation will be 14 feet.
But down the side then is going to be 18 and a half, according to that drawing from that engineer.
The depth of the building would be 18 and a half. Yeah, the difference will be that instead of, and I was going to work this out with the building inspector because it makes the building 2 feet wider. The point being that I realized that between the boat and the car it was going to be too tight with just 12 feet, so I needed the extra 2 feet.
So the 14 feet though that you're proposing is going to be facing the roadway.
Yes.
With two doors that swing out like shutters, it looks like. And then it's going to be 14.02 feet, and then there's going to be a shed on the back of it, making the total length 18 3/4 feet.
Right.
Going away from the road.
Right.
And my concern is that if you got the 14-foot facing the road and you got two doors, those doors are going to be 7 foot each. When you swing them out, they're going to be into that 20-foot area. And I'm wondering how close they're going to be to the actual roadway. And then again,
I've measured it thinking that, in a pinch, could we drive a car up to it? If it's 7 feet, and I wouldn't insist on the swinging doors. I just thought that was going to be the simplest thing and I could customize it. There might be enough of a dimension to do garage doors, but I'd rather not if I don't have to. But I know for a fact that if it's 7 feet, it's not going to come near the road. You could pull a car in there and park it in front of the structure.
What I'm looking at is you don't have the length from the building to the edge of the road to have a car. So it's like you got to pull off and go right into the building, and pulling out, you're going to be right into the road.
But it's a good 10 or 12 feet to the edge of the road, I think.
Well, my thought is I'd feel much safer or more comfortable if you could extend that flat area back 10 feet and move the building back to 30 feet instead of 20 from the center of the road.
That's going to involve fill, and I'm going to have to wait a year for it to compact. It's going to be very expensive to do it that way.
Well, those are my comments. I think that it's kind of tight there, and I realize there's many other buildings close to the road, but I don't think the ones you mentioned up on the end on Frost Road and stuff, I don't think none of them that I saw have you pulling in with a vehicle into it from the road in such a short distance. And I know they make these huge blocks of concrete down to the quarry. You bring them in and just set them in place, and they stack them up, and then it'd be very easy to put the fill against it and extend that back another 10 feet maybe.
Russ, is the concern the building or with the doors on it that provide that extra 7 feet?
Both. I think the building being 20 feet from the center of the road, and you don't know how much half of the road is putting it kind of close to the very edge of the road. I mean, when they come down and plow the snow, they're going to be plowing it right up against the building.
No. I've staked it out. They do that now. I mean, we have our cars parked in that spur, and they do it right up against our cars now. But I know, where the snow piles up, everything. It's going to be well away from the building. Like I said, I've staked it out, with orange string, and so when folks came by to look at it, they could see where it would be. it is 3/4 of the length of my Volvo off the road. So that's, and the Volvo is, I don't know, 15 feet, something like that. So it's a good 10 feet off the edge.
Those are just my concerns.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for mentioning this. Charles?
Yeah, I guess I think Russ raises an important point. How steep is the grade? I mean, even just another 5 feet would give you a lot more room to pull off and a lot more safety there, right? Is the grade that much that you would have to bring in a lot of fill and have quite a significant footing?
I think so. I mean, I was already planning on pushing it a little bit over the edge. It's like 6/12. It's like a 45-degree angle going down. That's what I would estimate. So I was already pushing it back because we need, according to the engineer, we need haunches to stabilize the concrete pad. So I was going to use that to kind of push it further back. But if we get beyond that,
I mean, if you're going to, it's a good question. What sort of, are you going to put a concrete pad down? So you would need footings, or are you just going to put gravel, or what? So
a 4-inch concrete slab with 12-inch haunches around the edge with rebar, and there would be gravel underneath.
Okay.
I mean, according to Robert Murray, the engineer, he said it was overkill and overbuilding, but I'd rather do that than underbuild it.
So that slab is not supporting the building; it's just to provide a surface for the things you put in the building. Then I guess.
Yes, and to kind of pin it down. I mean, the land that's there has been there for a long time, and it's compacted, and But if I had to add more fill on the back, it would be more difficult. I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but if the concern is, how much room there is to work with between the front of the shed and the road, there's a good 10 feet there, maybe more.
I mean, I think what Mr. Tompkins is suggesting is that you might actually find it more practical for you in the long run to give yourself a little more cushion. But it's hard to know exactly without pinning it out and seeing where it goes. So just a suggestion.
Yeah. So when I staked it out, like I said, I pushed it back over the edge to where, if we're building a little retaining wall and using that 12-inch, 1-foot haunch structure, it works without additional fill.
I'd like to kind of comment. I certainly appreciate the two comments that were just made by Charles and Russ. And I do share that same concern, particularly when doors are open and the turns become sharper and so forth. What makes me feel a little better about the whole thing is that I don't foresee this as a building where things will be going in and out of the building on a daily basis. It's more of a storage kind of a situation. Not that you can't go in and out as often as you want, but if it was a garage where the car that you drive every day is being used and goes out, comes in, and particularly in bad weather and so forth, I'd be a little more alarmed. As storage for the antique boat and the sports car, weather dependent, all that kind of stuff enters into my thinking process. And I don't see that the trips in and out of the building will be as often as they might be if the vehicles stored in there were for daily use. There's going to have to be precautions taken when pulling a boat out on the road. But I must say, in the half hour or so I was there, I didn't see another vehicle go by. So it's not a heavily traveled area. With due caution being observed, it probably will be okay. It was only my second time on that road in the 15 years that I've been a resident of Clinton. So, you know, kind of extrapolate that a little bit. I guess it's the neighbors more than anyone else who are going up and down. The other part of my thought is the property is really quite beautiful. It contains lots of natural features, and those features would have to be severely impacted if they were requesting a long winding driveway to get to that, to get to a shed in some other part of the property. And as long as, you know, the safety considerations can be met, I think that this is a spot that's better than most others on the property in terms of not impacting the property itself and not being, you know, overly visible to the neighborhood. So it's a compromise, I guess, and we'll have to see where it goes.
Thank you, John. Norma?
Didn't click. When we get to the motion, I just wanted, in light of John's comments, perhaps change the motion to detached storage building instead of garage.
Yeah,
Which
that's
gives
really what
it
it
a more clear definition of the fact that it's not in and out. Okay, if that's all right. I wanted to open this up for board discussion, and I'd sort of like to amend the dimensions of the building because he's down to a ½ an inch, and we usually give a little leeway.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if how the board members felt about changing that from 18 and a half to 19. To give him a ½ an inch.
Good suggestion. Are there any, thank you, Norma. Any other comments?
I also wanted to say that I appreciated the design of the building. It's you know, it's not overly large. It's in keeping with the neighborhood, and I appreciated that.
Anything else? What next, Joseph?
Joseph looks frozen.
I think you're right.
I thought I was frozen there for a minute too.
Joseph.
Wish I had something with an ice cube in it right now, though.
He'll be back.
Yep.
Give him a minute.
While we're waiting for them, does Winnicke allow any public access to that marvelous bog that's back just south of your property?
I think so. I mean, you know, in the spring, maybe June or so, they had signs up that said, you know, just, you can walk it, but just stay within the property markers, and, you know, their staff was out there. So I used it.
Yeah.
And then I ran into the guy, he's the director. I think we go swim in the same place in the summer. And I asked him about it. He was a little discouraging, but I think there's public access. I think there is. And it's marked now. They put up new, you know, the LKTA put up new markers, and then Winnicke put up new markers around as if for the you know, that area is accessible.
I wonder if Joseph lost his internet altogether.
He can call.
Why don't you call him, but we'd still have a quorum.
I'm gone.
So this picture we're looking at right now that Arlene's got up there is inaccurate. That's the one where we have the longest part towards the road, I think, and the peak parallel to the road. When it's
No.
put up, it's going to be, the peak is going to be perpendicular to the road, right?
No, it's the other way around. If the peak were facing the road, that would be the short dimension, of the main part of it. So that's what it looks like if you turn it on its side and then you hang the shed addition off the back.
So what we're looking at, the face of this here, with the 2 doors, I'll call it,
You could
that's
call.
14 feet.
Huh?
Yeah, that's right.
And then going back with the angle off the
Okay,
rear,
you could call.
that's 18 feet?
Okay.
18 and a half, yeah.
Okay, well, when I look at the picture, the scale drawing, the 18 and a half is parallel to the ridge line, the one that your engineer did.
Yeah, that one was
Entirely
before I
different.
realized.
This
That
one
was
by the
before I
engineer,
realized.
It's back.
Back. Yeah, so that was before I realized that the 12-foot dimension was too tight. So when I applied, and that was the stuff that we submitted to the building inspector before it became a variance request. So I put in the variance request that I realized, and it's not going to change the structure of the building. The only dimensions it's going to change is going to make it 2 feet wider. But I realized that if it were as narrow as 12 feet, it was going to be too tight for the boat and the little car.
Okay, so again, I'm looking at I assume the drawing that the professional did, like I say, it shows it 12, you're saying 14. But then it shows the other side 18 3/4 feet. And the
Yeah,
18 3/4 are going to be parallel to the road?
No, going back from the road.
Going back. And if you look at the drawing, the 18, we'll call it 19 feet, going back is parallel to the ridge line. And you show this rough drawing of the ridge line facing the road. If it's going to be this drawing, it's going to be going from the road back, not
Right.
parallel to the
So
road.
the engineering drawing I'm proposing, we're going to submit a new one when we go back to the building inspector, where the peak roof part of it is going to be rotated 90 degrees. And then the shed addition, instead of hanging off the gable end, it's going to hang off the other side so the roof continues. But structurally, it's going to be the same building. It's just going to be rotated, and the shed addition, that hangs off the back is going to be 2 feet wider.
All right, I was a little confused trying to look
Yeah.
at your scale that you kind of penciled in and the drawing from the professional,
Yeah, I was just meant to show where the building's going to go and roughly, what the shape is going to be.
Arlene, have we heard from Joseph?
Yeah,
Yep, he's having a hard time. He lost his internet, but he's trying to come back.
I'm on.
Oh, there you are.
Oh,
Sorry.
our leader's back.
I've been on for a couple of minutes. Yes, so further discussions from the board members. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. This is the time for the public to comment. So, any comments from the public? Okay.
They're busy watching debate. We're here.
I saw Lee Rowley was on and Joanna Underwood was on, but I think maybe they dropped off to watch the debate. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they already submitted their letters.
Okay. Yeah. Eileen, do you have a comment?
Huh? Oh, I don't know. Who's out there?
Rowley? Anyone that would like anyone else to? Yeah, if you can go ahead and speak. Is that? Eileen, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, she's muted.
Bob and I have listened carefully to the zoning board members, and we think you're very wise and you're making good decisions, and we are in support of this endeavor. Clearly, Melanie and Steve have put a lot of thought into this, and in addition to what we've said in our letter, we we do feel like it is a good project. I think it will be a benefit to everyone on the road and positive.
Great, thank you very much.
Mhm.
And Eileen Rowley, is that correct?
Yes.
Can I have the address, please?
And your address, Eileen?
Oh, we're at 216 Ziffelberg Road. Ziffelberg, guys, Ziffelberg.
I may tell you that used to be called Civil Barracks Road.
Oh,
When I worked on the highway department back probably around 1960, as a young guy helping to plow, it was called Civil Barracks Road.
how was that spelled?
I don't know, but we always called it Zibby back. But I think way back before you get to the town line where the bridge is, on the left, I think there was some building back there they called Civil Barracks, and I don't know exactly what it was. but-
Civil Barracks. Interesting.
Thank you. All right, any other comments from the public? All right, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Hold on, sorry.
Yes.
Nova, did you read the other letter from or email from the neighbor?
I had 2 letters I read.
Are there more than 2 of
There
them?
was the last email that came in like around 6 o'clock. It's
Was I
from,
eating dinner? Yeah, I didn't see it.
well, it's from Barbara One, who is across the street with the barn. And she doesn't have a problem. She's supporting it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, we can continue on. We had a motion to close the public hearing and a second. Who seconded that?
I think I did. Where am I?
Okay, we'll go with you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. Further discussion?
Right.
Norma, are you ready for your motion?
Just a comment as the project progresses and the engineer or designer looks at it a little bit more carefully as you approach, breaking ground, whatever distance you can gain, it would probably be a good thing without breaking the bank and so forth.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And if we can push it back, if you grant us the 20-foot variance and we can push it back without going nuts, it would be a good thing to do.
Right. Thank you.
As long as you have 20 and you get more, that's fine. But if you had 20 and you wanted 15, that's where a problem would lie.
Right.
So shall I read the
Yes.
motion? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a couple of modifications on this, Arlene, so I'll send you a revised copy. And this is the thing that I do. All motions are made in the positive. The voting is what determines the outcome of any application that we have. So I hereby motion to approve the area variance to section 250 attachment 2 to reduce the front yard setback from 100 feet to 20 feet to build a 14 by 19 foot detached storage building as requested by Stephen Kent and Melanie Meir for a 6.16 acre property located at 231 Zipfelberg Road, Rhinebeck, New York, tax grid number, and then the important numbers are 116439 in the AR5A zoning district. Item 1, an undesirable change will not be brought about in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties as several other structures on this and neighboring properties are closer to the road. 2, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other feasible method besides granting the variance without significantly disturbing the environment given the lot configuration. 3, the requested variance is substantial. However, the lot is irregularly shaped with steep slopes and wetlands, leaving very little flat area to build a storage building. The alleged difficulty was self-created, but should not preclude the granting of the area variance considering the surrounding conditions. 5, a residential area variance is a type 2 action under seeker and requires no further action. 6, the property is not in a critical environmental area. 7, the site is not in an ag district and a residential area variance does not require an ag data statement. 8, the site is not in a ridgeline, scenic, or historic protection overlay district. 9, for the zoning enforcement officer, there are no known outstanding zoning violations. And 10, all fees have been paid.
Second for discussion.
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? Any comments about that? All right. One mic.
Are you not putting any lighting downward, all kinds of stuff? Those normally condition that you normally do?
No, hadn't planned on it. What we're storing in there is the boat, take out in the summer, an antique car that's convertible, we can only use in the warm weather, and then, ladders and mowers and stuff like that. So it's,
You said there was no electric in the building, so I didn't put that as a condition.
yeah, we're not planning on putting any electric.
So any other comments before we do the voting?
Yeah.
Arthur?
I have two. I think according to this application, it's an AR3 district.
I think I was wrong about that. I was corrected in the planning board meeting. It's supposed to be AR5, I think.
AR5. I don't know of an AR5A, but an AR5. Okay.
I don't know, maybe it's a typo on my part.
The other thing is about storage in the setback. And obviously the drawing where the shed is sketched in over a photograph of their yard shows storage in the setback. I think it's appropriate to touch on that.
Okay, so in the setback, you're not allowed to have any storage. So like, for example, shouldn't be putting ladders, wheelbarrows, or the like outside of the building because that is in the setback. And that's, it's not part of the particular variance, meaning that's our town.
Did you say outside the building?
Well, anywhere in the setback, but that would be outside of the building.
Yeah, well, we don't, what we have is the boat trailer. There's no place else to pull it off the road. And a couple of cars, but we don't have ladders there in the setback. They're further back in the yard, but we want to get them in the shed.
Sure. Okay.
You can't put them there. That's just what they're saying.
Yeah.
So the front yard setback is 100 feet from the center of the road, all along the front of the property. Just bringing that up. And the issue that people don't really think about is leaning a wheelbarrow up against the shed or having things, ladders hanging off a shed. It's fine if the shed isn't in the setback, but once the shed has been allowed to be in the setback, you can't have additional things clustering around the shed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any other further discussion? Okay. So now again, we're reviewing voting. An aye vote is in favor of granting the variance. A nay vote is not in favor of granting the variance. John Calogero.
Aye.
Charles Canham.
Aye.
Norma Dolan.
Aye.
Juan Mostello.
Aye.
Arthur Wyland.
Aye.
Russell Tompkins.
Aye.
Aye.
Your variance has been granted.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you.
Much appreciate all of your efforts.
Yes, you're welcome.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening. Again, if
Thank-
you have questions, feel free to reach out to Arlene.
Will do. Thanks.
Okay, we have our final variance for this evening. Is that pronounced Fierro?
Yes.
Okay, Fierro. All right, great. So are there any comments from the members of the board before we begin hearing the Fierro variance? That's your Russell.
Did you ask me something, Joe?
Yeah, we're doing the Fiero variant. Do you want to be involved with this or choose to recuse yourself from this particular?
Well, as you said, when it's open to the public, I can make some comments. I will recuse myself from voting on this, and I will wait until you want public comments and state something then.
Sure. Okay, great. So if let me just pull this up.
Hold on, Russ, did you recuse?
Yes, Russ recused himself. Yeah. So Kevin and Deborah, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. If you would be so kind as to explain why you're coming before the Zoning Board of Appeals and what we can do for you.
Absolutely. So we live at 1338, that we've been there for over 35 years, and we purchased 1346 Center Road, which is right next door. And along with 1346, there's an 1.75 acres of land behind both us, both behind 1338 and 1346, that we'd like to do a lot line adjustment and add the 1.75 acres from 1346 to 1338. So we went in front of the planning board. They suggested that we go in front of the variance board, and that's why we're here.
And what specific variances are you looking for?
Request for an area variance is what they're saying.
Okay, Charles.
Sure, thank you, Joseph. Yeah, I'll summarize the planning board recommendation, and that will describe what the request is here. So the planning board leaves their recommendation to the end. It's unusual, but I agree with what they've said. Whereas the applicants are seeking a lot line adjustment with respect to these two parcels they own at 1338 and 1346 Center Road in the AR3 district. Both of these parcels are non-conforming substandard lots. Parcel A, the 1338, which is the Fiero's primary residence, is 1.25 acres. The other parcel, 1346, is 2.75 acres. The applicant transfer 1.75 acres from the other parcel to their primary residence parcel at 1338. Right, yeah, this gets confusing, I'm sorry. And so the 1.75 acres in question were, at least as of 1969, a separate landlocked lot before being combined with 1346 Center Road. The proposal has the advantage of making 1338 Center Road into a conforming lot at 3 acres. However, 1446 would then become even more conforming, non-conforming at 1 acre. Section 206.13b1 of Town Code states the proposed lot line adjustment shall not create any substandard lot or render any lot more substandard than it may be. Section 25095K3A of the zoning law says the same. The planning board says we have recognized in prior proceedings that an application for a lot line adjustment which would make an existing lot more substandard requires an area variance. They reference a variance of the Forschlers from September of 2019, although although every variance is a unique request, but accordingly they say we consider this application as seeking an area variance. And then they go on to the fairly standard notices. This is a type 2 action under SECRA. The property is not in a critical environmental area or ridgeline, scenic, or historic district. Their number 8 was the proposed change will not affect the appearance of either lot from the street because the 1.75 acres at issue is behind the houses and is not readily viewable. The house directly behind 1346 is apparently also on a 1 acre lot. As noted, the 1.75 acres was once a separate lot and is thus consistent with the neighborhood. Indeed, the proposal will have the benefit of reducing the number of non-conforming lots from 2 to 1. Therefore, we conclude the proposed change will not affect an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or affect the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. And therefore, they resolve that this be treated as an area variance, and they make a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So that's the planning board. I agree with their determination that this requires an area variance. The proposed lot line adjustment would reduce the size of one of the two lots. On the other hand, it would create a conforming 3-acre lot on the other lot. So that's what we just have to balance here. I feel quite comfortable with the conclusions of the planning board. You know, the lots immediately north and south of these two in question are in fact exactly 1 acre. It's hard to see how the lot line adjustment in and of itself has any effect on the character of the neighborhood or environmental or physical conditions in the neighborhood. So, you know, that's my summary of what's being proposed.
Okay, thank you. Further comments from the board?
Yeah, it looks to me like eventually the smaller lot, not the one they live in, will still have good backyard setback, which is convenient for future activities. And the lot that is their current residence will now have better backyard setback. So I think in both cases, one is a bit of a wash, and the other is an improvement in regard to setback usage.
Yeah, and if I can follow up with Arthur's comment. I haven't spent a lot of time reading section 206 of the town code, since it's about planning board and lot line adjustment responsibilities, but it does raise the issue that if a lot line adjustment changes an existing variance, then the zoning ZBA needs to consider that. But in this case, doing the lot line adjustment would not create setback problems for the new lot, the new 1 acre lot. There's still plenty of room in the back for the rear yard setback. There was an existing, it turns out, thanks to Arlene, 10 years ago, I met the Fieros because I led the discussion of a front yard setback for an addition onto their garage. And again, this lot line adjustment would not affect that variance in any way, because it just extends, as Arthur said, the rear yard. So in that regard, this doesn't create other problems besides just the reduction in the size of the one lot.
Thank you. Any other discussions from members of the board? All right, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Aye.
Okay, at this time, comments from the public.
Arlene,
Okay,
if
now
you're
I'm a
not gonna-
public person here.
Okay, Russ.
What's that, Charlie?
Well, I was just gonna say, if you're not gonna show us something, you can turn off share screen so that we can see each other, because we're just
No,
looking.
but I think the public will want to see how the line is going to move and everything.
But that's not what they're seeing.
Now
What are you
is
seeing on your screen?
they're not seeing anything significant.
Your files.
My files? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's dangerous. I have the map in front of me. You're not
Yeah,
seeing my map?
This works. This works.
Really?
Okay, Russ, go ahead.
All right, as I know people don't like to hear me say it, but I was born in this town 76 years ago, and I remember well when the Stickles goat farm up there, and Alice and Bud typically would sell off an acre at a time, I think, to get money to pay their taxes. And that's how we had these little acre parcels up there. And that's before zoning came in and turned around and said, oh, you got to have 3 acre here and 5 acre there. Interestingly enough, my area here was 3 acres. And then somewhere along the line, they decided to make it 1 acre. So these things have been in flux. But anyway, it was very common to have 1 acre parcels up there. And as you said, the one in the back is 1 acre parcel. Originally, Benaway's had the 1 acre parcel, and then I guess picked up that 1 3/4 in the back. So you're not really changing the character of the neighborhood at all. And I don't see any detrimental effect to grant this variance to turn around and make 1 now apparently conforming. It's unfortunate that it wasn't right across the back, so it would be a little more convenient piece. But like, as I say, as a member of the public, I think that this makes sense, and granting it would be a good decision.
Thank you, Russ. Any other comments from the public? I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Aye.
Further discussion from the board? All right, Charles, your motion.
I move that the Town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals grant an area variance to Kevin and Deborah Fierro of 1338 Center Road to allow a lot line adjustment between the 2 adjacent parcels they own at 1338 Center Road and 1346 Center Road. Specifically, we grant an area variance with respect to the 3 acre minimum lot area per dwelling unit in the district's schedule of area and bulk regulations for the AR3 zoning district to allow the 2.7 acre parcel at 1346 Center Road. And please tell me if I get these addresses turned around. I've gone back and forth.
You're doing fine.
To be reduced in size to 1 acre by a lot line adjustment that attaches the remaining 1.75 acres to the adjacent parcel at 1338 Center Road, with the result that the parcel at 1338 Center Road has a new area of 3 acres. Factors. Town Code Section 206-13B1 provides that the proposed lot line adjustment shall not create any substandard lot or render any lot more substandard than it may be. Town Code Section 206-13B2 notes that the lot line adjustment may create a non-conformance under local laws for which a variance would be required. And further, Town Code Section 206-13B5 notes that the lot line adjustment may or may not invalidate a previously approved variance. I left a word off there. Just get that in there. 2, the reduction in size of the 2.7, and I guess, I mean, are we confident that it is 2.75? The numbers have, parcel access rounds down to 2.7. Kevin, I assume that you've got enough of a survey to be comfortable that that your resulting lot will in fact be 3 acres.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I should have asked that before. So the reduction in size of the 2.75 acre parcel would clearly render that lot more substandard than it currently is in terms of bulk area. However, the new reduced lot lines for that parcel do not appear to create a new nonconformance of the current structures on the lot with respect to other area requirements, specifically the rear yard setback. 3, similarly, the proposed change in lot lines for the currently 1.25 acre parcel would not create new nonconformances of the parcel with respect to the schedule of area and bulk regulations, and would in fact remove the nonconformance with respect to the minimum lot area in this AR3 zoning district. 4, the net effect of the reconfiguration of the 2 parcels would be to eliminate one of the 2 nonconformances. The reduction in size of the 2.75 acre parcel to 1 acre is not out of character with the immediate neighborhood, since the 2 adjoining parcels to the north and south along that side of Center Road are also only 1 acre in size. Therefore, the granting of the variance will not produce I have all sorts of typos tonight, an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties. 5, as simply a lot line adjustment, the variance will not have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. 6, the requested variance is substantial, but that does not preclude granting the variance. 7, the alleged difficulty was self-created, but again, that does not preclude granting the variance. 8, the benefit sought by the applicants, creating a conforming lot on one of the parcels, cannot be achieved by other means. 9, the properties in question are not in a critical environmental area or ridgeline scenic or historic district. 10, an area variance is a type 2 action under secra and requires no other further review. Conditions, 1, that all fees have been paid.
Second for discussion.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Is it worth mentioning that the two lots are basically owned by one?
Both lots are owned by this. Both lots have the same owner.
Yeah.
I say that right at the very beginning.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
See,
The two adjacent parcels they own at 1338 and 1346.
Thank you. Great.
Any other comments on the motion? Okay. At this point, we'll vote on the motion, and I vote is in favor of granting it. Nay, not in favor of granting it. John Calogero.
Aye.
Charles Callan.
Aye.
Norma Dolan. You're muted. I got the aye. There we go. Ron Mostello.
Aye.
Arthur Wyron.
Aye.
And aye. So your variance has been granted. So
Thank you.
yes, yes. Thank you for
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Best of luck.
Enjoy.
So I assume at this point, they still have to now go back to the planning board to actually have the
Lot line
adjustment.
adjustment. They have to
Right,
put the lot line.
absolutely, yes. Yep.
So not yet. You can't. You gotta do the lot line stuff.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So
Okay.
an hour and a half. Good job, everyone. It's pretty good for three variances. We've spent longer on one. So this is
The last time we did 3, we were here until 1 o'clock in the morning.
I think we should tell the Fieros that they can go if they're.
yeah. You're welcome to stay and listen, or you can leave entirely.
Or no, listen, I'm gonna
Or you
go
can
and
watch
I'll
the
probably go to
presidential
sleep. So
debate.
yeah, you guys carry on. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any minutes?
Oh wait, Russ is coming back, right? Where's Russ?
Russ is back.
I can hear you, but I can't see. I don't know what happened. It just comes up on my screen, says Zoom phone is expanding your reach.
I can see you.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what you want.
Joseph, I gave you the minutes last time, remember? John, Norma read it. 9:24, whatever.
For last week's meeting.
No, not 9, August, I'm sorry. 8:20, hold on.
8:27. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. 8:27. We didn't approve them?
No, because remember, you guys want to get out of there.
We still do.
Do we have minutes? Did you email them to us?
Yes. Norma read it, John read it. Charlie, did you?
But I don't have it in front of me now. I mean, I sent you my changes.
Yeah, you sent me the changes. You suggested.
Like a little tiny thing.
Yes.
Arlene, I just emailed you the corrected version of my motion with the typos
Oh,
fixed.
good, yes, please, thank you.
Use that one.
All right, just accept it based on Norma's thing. Just a little tinny.
What'd you put in it, Norma?
I can read it.
Just a clarification on what I
Of what you said.
meant, what I said, or what I meant to say anyway. So that the meaning was there.
Okay, so let's
It's a
go
minor little thing.
for the review of the minutes for 8:27. Were there any additional changes that we had? Charles, you send in changes?
I'm lost. I don't remember even seeing these things. Did
That was
we go
last
over-
meeting.
Oh, well, no, that last meeting was fine. Yeah, the minutes were fine to me.
Okay, so that's 9:24 is the last meeting. So the minutes from 9:24, were there any comments from those or changes to those?
Where are those
Well,
minutes?
I thought it was
No, it's 8:27, Joe.
Right.
So, well, I'm just looking at what you have here.
Oh, yeah, no, the 924 now, 827.
Okay, so did we send out 924?
Yes, no.
So we don't have
Yeah.
9.
Kevin, we're doing
Okay.
824.
So then we're just looking at 827.
Yes, yes.
All right, 827. Any changes to those minutes? I'm
John
looking-
is okay. John is okay. Norma, I have her little tinny amendment. Ron, do you have anything? Are you okay with it?
I
Yes.
was privy to 27 and I was away for the meeting on September, so I have no comments on either one of those that may come up.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as amended from 8/27/2020. Do I have a second?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. 9/24 minutes we don't have yet.
I don't have them.
Any further discussion? Good. That's good. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the Town of Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Oh,
Hey.
Dean,
Hey,
how
Dean.
are
I'll say
Oh,
hi.
yeah, you're forgetting Dean.
He's
you?
been
With you the whole time.
standing by the
Lurking.
Oh, you're just a statue.
I'm multitasking, so I didn't want to have my video on.
I second the motion to adjourn.
You're at the podium.
He was probably eating.
These other people were going for the hour-long information from our wise pundits.
All
I'm
right.
ready to go.
All right.
I think my ride is here. So I wish you all a good evening, and you can adjourn. What?
Our next meeting, Ross,
Yes.
we won't meet in November. So the next meeting will be December 3rd, the first Thursday of December.
First Thursday instead of the fourth Thursday?
Yeah, in December.
We combine November and December because for some reason, no one wants to do it on Thanksgiving. So
I can't understand that.
I know.
I will go to my two calendars, one in the bedroom and one in the kitchen, and write down 12/3, 7:30 meeting.
You got it.
So the only comment that I have for your consideration is that Whitney will be circulating the Airbnb.
Going to be announced within weeks,
and
and it's going to be
I'll be on the
delivered.
We need that.
Arthur, your TV. Thank you.
He's watching the
Again,
debate.
Dean, so we can hear you.
Yeah, so the Airbnb law is on the agenda for next month board meeting for approval. So you should have gotten a circulation on that. And then in the next couple of weeks, I'll be sending out the event law, which also will include some updates to the conference center law. So if you're only having your next meeting in December, you'll basically get both of those. So if you can make comments, if you have any, and send them back, that'd be great.
I sent some comments around that just, but
The comments back to you, Dean?
You could send Michael the ones on the Airbnb, and you can send me the ones on the other.
I don't think he ever read any of my changes before. But I'll
Well,
try.
you may have read them. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
When's the public hearing? Next meeting in November?
The Airbnb one will be in November, yes.
So the public hearing, is it going to be Zoom or is it live?
I don't recall. I think it's part of the town board meeting, so it'll probably be by Zoom.
So everybody, you could attend and make a comment, and this way you know, because it's all going to be affected us. So don't forget.
All right.
November
Airbnb.
10th, right? And is the STR local law, Dean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the calendar shows a virtual public hearing on November 10th,
Right.
6:15.
Be virtual. All right.
Okay, don't forget to vote, everybody. Election in 2 weeks.
How could we?
Don't forget that guy on the picture.
All righty. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Good night, everybody.
I'd like to make
Good
a
night.
to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a second?
Oh.
I already seconded it.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.